Who has the biggest penis? Hulk, Thor, or Thanos? How many irons would an Iron Man iron if an Iron Man could man irons? Cable versus Abomination. Do you prefer spiders or men? Tommy Beckhold stole my heart. Hello, I've done it wrong already. Hey guys, so the video you're about to see, we're gonna have to take something out. We jumped the gun on using a certain phrase for something that we wanted to do. There's no secret that we're a big fan of the channel New Rockstars, and one of their videos they do is called Rogue Theories. Now, we love the idea, we love the concept, we really wanted to do the concept. However, that being said, I did email them and ask if it was okay for us to use that concept. They've asked us if we can not use that name. We completely get it, and we're completely fine with it, and we thank them very much for how polite they were in their email. They were very professional with us. But as such, I don't want to edit over every single time that we say it and cut it and make it look all jammy for you guys. So instead, I'm just going to give you this little video here saying not to worry about the idea of a Rogue Theory name. The name we're going with just hashtag theories, just like all of our videos are hashtag something. That is that one. So very sorry for having to do this before the video, but let's get it going. Hello and welcome to Marvel Matters, the channel all about everything to do with, well, Marvel. So today we are here to have another discussion for you. Our current video is uploading as we speak for the first ever edition of us having a discussion. Normally I try not to talk to Ash, but for some reason we decided to record these ones. Today we're going to be discussing all about the Disney Plus shows that are coming up as we are talking right now. Obviously they've been pushed back a little bit. Well, definitely Falcon Winter Soldier. The rest of them, though, we don't know what's going on with them right now, but we're going to be having a little chat about what we think is going to happen with that, what's going to happen in the shows. And there's also two shows that are definitely in development that we don't know what they are yet. So me and Ash are also going to have a little, tiny, little preview for you of Rogue Theory. That's something that we're going to be doing soon, and it is named after the iconic channel, New Rockstars. Shout out to them. Do go give them a lovely little subscribe and watch some of their Rogue Theories. That's why we do it. We like it. But we're going to be pitching two ideas each for what we think these shows would be, because obviously there's two shows. So we're going to be doing that. But I keep mentioning him. I've not let him speak yet. He's going to get antsy. He's going to get pantsy, and he's already pantsy enough. So, Ash, welcome to the show.
Hi, and I wouldn't get annoyed if you didn't introduce me. That's not how I work, but okay. Hi. Finally figured out the backdrop, so got that one sorted.
So Ash has been using his phone thus far, and now he's got his laptop. He's able to use that lovely little background. So it's not that Ash is just not smart. Okay, he just found it. I mean, I did have to guide him through it, but also I had to get guided through it when I did it. So
yeah, and I'm not really tech savvy. So I mean, I struggle to. I'm having Xbox issues at the moment anyway. So
well, not at the minute. Because at the minute, we're going to be starting to talk about Disney Plus. Ash, you watching Disney Plus?
I am currently, well, yeah, we are watching Disney Plus, me and my partner. So we're watching through
that. Shout out to Ash's partner for dealing with him. Disney Plus obviously recently has been released, and we know that we're going to get some brand new MCU shows on it. So let's talk about the one that's been delayed and talk about why. And because we did promise that in the first video, because we said, oh yeah, we'll talk about that later, but we never did, because we were always going to do a separate, like a second video. Now is later. Falcon Winter Soldier, Ash, obviously it's been delayed. It was originally meant to be coming out. I think we were meant to have already had episodes back in March. It's now not coming out until August. What's your take on them pushing it back, first of all, and then we'll talk about why?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure why they chose as a as a strategy, a business strategy to push it back. Really, if everyone's going to be watching YouTube, Netflix, general TV during the lockdown, the best thing they would have done really would be to release it on time, because it's a streaming channel, it's a streaming site. Yeah, they should have released it kind of at the same time, the original time they had said to. So I don't really see why they pushed it back, unless it was to build more hype over it. But then it doesn't make sense, because then they want to try and advertise more people buying the Disney Plus service subscription.
So the supposed reason right now about why they pushed it back was because of what was inside of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's about a virus getting released, possibly the Ultron virus, which would be very, very cool. A way to bring back Age of Ultron. It'd be great if he survived somehow. So yeah, they're now looking at that, and they don't want to release something about a virus whilst there's a virus going on. So that's why they've supposedly pushed it back. Apparently there's a chance they're also now going to change some parts of the story to avoid certain things. So maybe they got a bit too close to the coronavirus and they were like, yeah, let's not talk about this right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from a younger person's perspective, that families would probably complain, but then from those who love Marvel from reading the comic books when they were younger, like the older generation, most of them, I mean, to be fair, are quite dark humored anyway, and I think they'll be like, well, this is actually quite realistic to what's going on now. I think there's probably a lot of mixed stigma around it.
Yeah, for sure. But now let's talk about what we've heard about the show. So I'm not sure if I'm imagining this, but I'm fairly certain Omega Red was rumored for Black Widow, and it was also rumored that he would also be coming in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Right.
I might be wrong here. It might have just been Black Widow, but I've heard rumors of that. So that would be the first mutant that isn't Scarlet Witch or Quicksilver to make the jump, which would be interesting. What's your take on mutants possibly turning up straight away in Phase 4, just like that? Boom, introduce them.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if they're going to go towards the House of M storyline with WandaVision, because if they implement the mutants and then she can then get rid of them for a short amount of time, obviously they want to use them. There's no reason why they wouldn't now that the merger has happened. But that storyline, yeah, for maybe a temporary period during House of M's arc, they could get rid of them and then bring them back somewhere else. So I don't see there's any problem bringing them in now. And it would be very interesting to see. And then lead on to other things like Fantastic Four.
Have you seen the most recent episode of New Rockstar's Rogue Theory?
No, not at the moment, because my Xbox at the moment is being completely used by Rita, and she's watching Wizard of Waverly Place with it, so I have no chance to get on that at the moment.
Up until now, we've referred to Ash's partner as Ash's partner. He is talking about his partner there.
Yes.
Not everyone will know her name. I didn't know if I wasn't meant to mention it, so I didn't.
That's fine.
So on the latest episode, there was a theory given out that I really like, which is rather than doing a House of M, what if, whilst doing the House of M to bring in mutants, she wishes so hard for it to happen with her powers that it completely destroys her and her essence gets blown out and sent across a bunch of people. And that's how they create the mutants.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an interesting theory for us to go down. And I mean, if they do that, that would be something I would definitely want to get into and watch and find out what happens with it. Personally, for me, I think this was referenced on New Rockstars as well. I can't remember who said it, but this I quite liked this, and I do hope they do this as well, but reverse House of M, where she actually creates the mutants rather than make them disappear, kind of similar to what you just said.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. Do you know who it was that told you that?
I can't remember her name, but it was one of the girls on the panel, and I completely blank on her name now.
Remember who said that to you first? Whilst in a pub with beer in our hands. This guy said it.
Dylan? Was it Dylan?
Shut your mouth about Dylan. Shout out to Dylan if you're watching. And if you're not watching, I'm making him watch this. I'm going to make Dylan watch this. I'm going to tell him we name dropped him anyway. Dylan, we're going to name drop you again each one in this episode, so stick around. I'm not going to talk about too much about Falcon Winter Soldier, and the main reason being that I'm not particularly that interested about it.
It doesn't seem to be the thing. Then again, there's not much they've really said about it either. I think they're trying to keep that quite secretive because I think they want that to be their most, because it's the introduction. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the first one they do anyway, because they're doing Falcon and Winter Soldier first.
Well, I've got an idea of what I think they might end up doing in exchange, but we'll get to that later. I do think, though, the biggest news about this is that Baron Zemo is in the film. And obviously, the two of the shows that we're not going to mention later on in our own theories because they're quite obvious. One of them is the Thunderbolts. And, you know, there is different incarnations of the Thunderbolts. One of them led by Red Hulk, Thaddeus Ross, and the other led by Baron Zemo. And so could there be a possibility that what we're actually going to get is Thaddeus Ross and Baron Zemo leading the team together of the Thunderbolts?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a way they could go down it. I mean, I'm very on the fence with all of these counter comments, but it's yeah, I mean, there's so many possible multi storylines they could go down, and I'm not sure if they're gonna just stick to one storyline, finish it in a series, or they're gonna mix it up.
Multi storylines, like the multi verse.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
let's move on from that one because I'm not interested as much about that one. There's the next one that I'm really, really interested in. And I'm going to also tell you my idea before we start discussing it, and that's WandaVision. Now, WandaVision supposedly is fully recorded. Loki apparently has a little bit left still to record because we recently got set photos. So unless they were going, do you remember when we filmed this? Like, unless they were doing that, they were still recording. But WandaVision and Phase 7 was already fully wrapped. And so I personally think, unless there's a link that we need from Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I very much doubt from what we're getting, why don't we have WandaVision come forward?
Definitely, yeah. They need to fill that gap with something. And they've hyped up more of WandaVision than they have of Falcon and Winter Soldier anyway. The most advertisements I've seen has been about them implementing Simpsons into Disney Plus and then WandaVision. And so WandaVision there's so many mixed theories, mixed kind of personal opinion of how the show's going to go itself. And there's a lot more footage they've released online based around that TV show itself.
No, yeah, for sure. WandaVision, it's got a lot of different people thinking what's going on. We're not going to go into too much of what we think is going to happen because we've got a rogue theory coming up with that. But, sorry, I just like the word. I like big butts. No, but with WandaVision, I believe it's going to be the biggest one. I always thought it was going to be the biggest one. And then Loki had that little bit right at the end of that trailer at the Super Bowl, and that changed it completely. But I've had high expectations for WandaVision this entire time, mainly because of everything that's going to be obviously coming out of it going into Doctor Strange. So what we will discuss now is what happened in that trailer for WandaVision. Because we can talk about that. It's out there.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We can't theorize about a trailer that's already out. We can theorize about what's going to happen on the side of that, but we can't say, oh, I think they're going to bring out a trailer with this. It's there. So, obviously, in that trailer, we see the doorbell gets rung, and she replies with "Hello, Vision residents," which I think she's also on the phone. It's really weird, right? We hear the ding dong, and then she's on the phone. "Hello, Vision residents."
But she's also inside the TV as well.
Yes, yeah, and there's a lot of times when it's going like black and white and stuff, right? And then they go up through the decades and sitcoms.
Yeah, so it's different types of sitcoms, American sitcoms that go through up the decades. So you've got like a Dick Van Dyke type of black and white one, which is the first one we see, and then it goes on to maybe like Married with Children, I think is later on. I think that's like the 80s, and they kind of implement different themes or different springboards from different American sitcoms and the different decades to show the time passing. Yeah, and yeah, there's from after that, then it goes into they have their children, which is rumored to be Quicken and Speed.
The funniest thing is that Quicken, even though Speed is the last one.
I know. I meant Wiccan yeah, Wiccan and Speed. I don't even know why I stammered on that, because Wiccan being my religion, it just like, completely went out of my head.
Yeah, let's avoid religion talks. So, okay, I'm a Thanosian. Okay, that's
Thanosian.
Half the world. So, obviously, I don't think it's just rumor. I think you said it's pretty much confirmed. It's going to be Wiccan and Speed. But there's obviously the talk about whether that's like all just inside her head, because of everything that's happening around her. The fact she's going through these sitcom and like stuff like that, like it doesn't make sense, right? So there's this idea that it's all in her head, and who's created it? Is it her? Is it possibly Agatha Harkness? Could it be someone else completely? We don't know what's going on, right? So we can't really discuss it too much. And I also don't want to discuss it too much, because otherwise I'll be treading on, I know personally, your toes, because I know what your theory is going to be, Mr. for Rogue Theory in WandaVision's pitch. But yeah, I do think it's a very, very intriguing piece. And like, it's not what I expected when I heard about WandaVision, but it's made me really damn excited.
Yeah, no, I definitely can't wait for the release date, and we watch it. I won't, even if we are out of isolation by this point, I won't be leaving the house and just be there ready to watch it.
We end isolation the day before WandaVision comes out, and Ash is like, well, I've done it for this long. Screw it. Let's just keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what was that, Ash?
I was going to say, well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm the same with any TV program I'm waiting to watch on the release day. Like, I don't leave the house for the entire day. I literally just wait for it to come out, watch it, and I stay there. Quite sad, really.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to where else I touched a little bit on earlier. Loki. Loki is gonna be a hyped series, guys. Now, I was not excited about Loki. I was thinking, oh, we're gonna follow this other Loki. We're gonna see his regular adventures. Like, yeah, they're fun, but I want new content. I want it to matter. I want it to Marvel matters, and it didn't feel like it was gonna have that. It really
that was really that was really cheesy what you just did.
Yeah. So hey, it's not as cheesy as the line I used at the end of the first video.
Equal.
Matters about Marvel, I think I said. But yeah, Loki wasn't hyped for me until that Super Bowl trailer, and he got like 5 seconds, less than that, I think. And I'm now more hyped about Loki than anything else, and that is purely because of that one little clip of him just saying, I'm going to burn this entire place to the ground. And on his uniform, TVA, the Time Variance Agency. You know what this means, don't you? Where they're going. Ash?
Sorry, I didn't realize you're asking me. I thought that was like a question that you don't need to be a rhetorical question. But yes,
no, they're you get rhetorical questions.
But yes, no, the Time Bureau agency.
What does that mean to Ash? Come on, you know.
Well, he's already disrupted time. He's made a branch timeline by taking the Tesseract out of what was meant to happen.
Ash, what does the TVA mean we're going to get? You said his name earlier to me.
Oh, Kang the Conqueror.
Boom! Kang the Conqueror is on his way. That's going to be absolutely crazy. And like, when you think about the fact that they've been talking about their big bads, right? And like, everyone's talking about Galactus is going to be the big bad. But
not until a team-up film, I think. That's definitely going to be like an end film, team-up film.
Definitely worthy of a team-up film.
Mm.
I don't want it to be the Age of Kang and like have him be the lackluster Age of Ultron film. Like, yeah, Age of Ultron gave us Scarlet Witch. yeah, like it gave us some memorable-ish moments. I think it gave us Vision, didn't it? It was that film that
Yeah,
Vision, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
Because it's part Ultron, part Jarvis.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't want him to be wasted, and I genuinely believe that they could have chosen, like, after time travel, it should have been Kang the Conqueror, big bad, ends on Phase 6. Then end of Phase 9, after the next saga, is Galactus. They should have spaced them out more, because now one of them's going to be lackluster, and also apparently they're bringing in Victor Von Doom, and Doctor Doom's definitely going to be a big bad
Well,
too.
just because they're in a TV series, they doesn't mean that they may not even play a major role. It could just be that they're getting ready to do these big team up films with these big team up villains, and it's they can hint towards it, or they can even show at the end of the series before like the next film from that, like, oh yeah, this is going to be the big bad of the film, kind of like what they did with Thanos at the end of Avengers.
I don't know. I think right now I would like them, if they do an Age of Ultron thing, then Kang needs to get a win somewhere, like kills someone, possibly Scarlet Witch, but kills someone, and then they go, and he gets away. And he goes and hides out to plan how he's going to come back at them. Then we have the Galactus thing, and then back in the next saga, we can carry on with Kang. And that it was like this is the age of Kang, and before you're witnessing the dawn of Kang. You've seen nothing yet. That would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, that definitely would be good to do. And I, for one, would definitely go and watch that too. But it's just whether or not how they can implement it so it's not like, as you said, not minuscule, not like Ultron and obviously, yeah, in the Age of Ultron.
Well, Ultron's such a big person in the comic books as well, so it's really upsetting. I really hope that if they did have the Ultron virus being unleashed in Falcon Winter Soldier, they don't remove it.
Yeah, and I mean, during the trailers for Endgame, we had obviously Clint Barton, literally obviously with the red light on him. This is obviously when he had fallen underneath the Avengers building, and I really wanted that to be Ultron coming back, because they said that old villains would be coming back, but they were referring to the time heist, and he's meant in the comic books. He's meant to wield an Infinity Stone anyway. I think it's not the Soul Stone. I think it was the Mind Stone he was wielding.
I believe he was wielding the stone that is now in Vision's head.
Yeah, so the Mind Stone. And I was really upset that they didn't do that, because that could have been like another kind of big threat. I mean, I know they had a very limited amount of time and they wanted to finish their story up, but it would have been quite nice to see Ultron come back find the gauntlet, but only one stone was in it because it'd fallen through obviously the basement area of the Avengers building, and pick up the Mind Stone, and then put it like in himself. And then you have to fight both Ultron and Thanos, but then Thanos and Ultron could also have a fight because Thanos still wants the stones.
What would be interesting is just wished everyone back into existence. Then they had Ultron turn up, take the Mind Stone, and then leave.
Yeah, that would be good.
Also got an unfinished story bit to go, well, actually, we need to go and get Ultron, and we kind of need to take him back to where we already beat him, which means that they could also doom a whole universe because they've got to re-beat Ultron. So that'd be really cool. But we spent a long time on Loki. Let's move on to the next series, which I think we're going to go with Hawkeye next. So Hawkeye, not many people are discussing Hawkeye. There was obviously the rumor that it was cancelled or delayed, and then that got expelled. They were like, nah, that's not happening. So it's definitely happening, definitely in the time frame they're talking about. I've read somewhere that Miss Marvel might come first. But Hawkeye was obviously announced first, announced in the Phase 4 slate. I'm going to go straight in with Hawkeye here. I think I'm hoping at least they're gonna give him this Jason Bourne film. Like he was meant to be in a Jason Bourne film, like style film, and then it got cancelled last minute. And I think this is their chance to go. Here it is. Like here's what he could have done. And then whilst he's doing that, he can also have his psychic Kate Bishop, who he's training, but actually Kate, like she's quite good. So actually, a lot of the time we see her save him. I know Eric Voss had the similar theory to it, where it's very much like he thinks that he's training her, but actually she's better than him and has been like always better than him. And it just shows that because of how young she is, she's going to end up being super duper powerful. But I don't know. I would prefer it that he's trying to train her up, and he shows her a few things, and she's picking them up like that, like that, like that, and she's absolutely powerhousing for everything. And we see her end up like give it like 2 episodes, and she's now better than Clint. And that's when we start to see her saving him, and start to see that actually she's picked up on this so fast. Think about how good she's going to be in the future.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah, no. Completely forgotten what I was going to say, actually, as I started saying that.
I completely went on a rant on that one. Well, what are you hoping to get out of Hawkeye?
I want him to kind of continue the I guess they kind of referenced it slightly. I think it was just generally kind of a comic book reference from when obviously he went solo, and can't remember his name because he didn't go by Hawkeye. He
went by Ronin.
Ronan, yeah. And I want to kind of see more of that, really. See what he like his 5 years of him just going around and targeting like minuscule villains like drug gangs and mafia and people that survived the snap when his family didn't, and just see the degress from the moment they disappeared to when when Black Widow picked him up, and they can spread that out for like an entire couple of seasons, and I think that would be quite interesting.
That would be interesting, but I want to leapfrog off your idea. What if is another series we're going to go on to? What if inside Hawkeye, Hawkeye's family get murdered and they're officially dead, and he goes back to being Ronin, and Kate Bishop has to stop him, and he's been training her throughout this entire thing, and now they're fighting. They have this big ass like episode of them fighting each other, trying to get to each other, doing this whole action movie-esque, like, what are you doing? I'm trying to save you whilst not having to kill you. Like, Clint's happy to kill Kate. Kate's not happy to kill Clint. But we also know that Kate's better now. So, like, with that having to hold her back and him not having anything to hold him back, who's going to win? Eventually have Kate do something that makes him run off, and basically he goes off somewhere, and we see like at the end, like, he says a line of, "My name's not Hawkeye, I'm Ronin," and then she decides to take up the mantle. That's when she becomes Hawkeye.
I mean, I don't think Disney would do that, just because they've already cleared up the storyline where his family was gone. He had that arc. They came back. I don't think they're gonna. It's a bit dark to kill them off. Plus, they've already recreated that kind of fighting scene between him and Black Widow when she sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone, and I don't think they would probably want to recreate that as well, just because that was such an emotional scene in the film, and it's one of the most remembered scenes in the entire film itself. And I think if they keep repeating that, people are gonna be like, "Well, this is just copying this." And
I think it's a repeat, Ash. I really don't. I don't think it's a repeat. I think. Although the concept might be the same, it's the story behind it and the story and the way of why this is happening and the way that they then execute it, right? There, they were both trying to sacrifice themselves. Hawkeye has lost his family, and he's like, I don't care who I got to kill. I'm going to kill every mofo. And like, that's the difference now, is that Hawkeye was willing to sacrifice himself for his family, but his family's definitely gone now. There's no bringing them back. So he doesn't care who he has to kill, but he wants everyone to feel this pain that he's feeling. And
like, you could still reference the pain through the time that they skipped, the 5 years they skipped from the blip, I think they called it.
Yeah, it did go back, but I don't like if they're bringing in Kate Bishop, right, which has been confirmed by the way, like why would we then have Kate Bishop introduced in the 5-year blip but don't see her in the Avengers Endgame battle?
Well, they could say the same thing they said about Nova. Like, she's there, you're just not looking hard enough.
I don't know. Like, I think personally, they should always have it that if they're gonna say, well, they were there, they need to have actually been there. And there's more than just us guys that have definitely scoured that film and they're not there.
Well, it could be a thing. It could be a thing similar to the Time Heist, where in the first film you don't see the other Avengers from the future, but then you see the old Avengers from the future's perspective, and it could be something along those lines, where it's like she was actually there. It's just we didn't get to see it because the storyline wasn't focused on her per se. But during the actual lineup, it could be like you just have to acknowledge that she's there, and then during that period, like she maybe have like a quick scene to be there in the battle with Thanos' army, but that'll be added in, similar to the extra bits with Civil War Spider-Man in Spider-Man, in the first Spider-Man film, Homecoming, and they had that little clip that he had recorded in his own little video, his home video from when he was away in Berlin.
Okay. I think we're not gonna agree on how we want this film to be. Because I want it to be that this film is we go forwards with the MCU, whereas I think your idea is let's fill in the gaps that we have in the MCU. But let's move on because no one thought we were going to talk about Hawkeye for that long. No people look at this video, they were like, "Oh, I bet they're going to skip over Hawkeye." No, but we're probably going to skip over What If quite a bit. Let's talk about What If. I don't want to go into what episodes we want to see because that's going to be also on the Rogue Theory. So instead, let's just talk about what episode we know is coming and one that's rumored. Zombies, I mentioned it earlier in a different video. Be sure to check out Out of the Box. Or Out the Box, I think I'm labeling it. I can't even remember my own titles. Check out.
You told me earlier it was Out of the Box.
No, it's Out the Box.
Right, you're changing it then.
I've got it written down as Out the Box.
On Facebook, you sent it to me as Out of the Box.
Oops. So go and check out the Box, where we did talk about that earlier. Zombies is a possible one. Another one that's possible. Sorry, no, not possible. This one's definitely happening. It's what if Peggy Carter was Captain America, and she had like the shield and stuff, right? Which should be a juicy episode. Obviously, all of these would be animated, which I think is a little bit of a shame. I'm not a massive like animation fan. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed some of the animation stuff, like Planet Hulk, probably my favorite Marvel film that isn't made by the MCU.
I mean, as long as they can implement the animation properly. I mean, at the moment, I quite like the Spider-Man series they've got at the moment with the Tom Holland Peter Parker, because they've made it look more like him, make it sound more like him. And I like those anime shorts. And I think if they could do that well, like a 20-minute episode cartoon, I think that would be quite well done, I think.
No, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a massive animated guy. And my main thing is that I always want all my content for the MCU to lead to the MCU. And this is like, well, if it's an animation, how does it lead to the MCU? I think they're going to like make it into continuity of going, well, actually, all of these are in different worlds. So it's like, well, this is going to happen. It's just happened in a different place. I do think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to miss out on that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not hugely looking forward to What If, but if they manage to make it somehow where I feel like I'm getting story about the MCU for it, then yeah, I'm all over it. Well, let's go on to the 3 theories that got announced later. So we have Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk. Miss Marvel, let's start with her, seeing as she was possibly going to come before Hawkeye. How much do you know about Miss Marvel, Ash? Obviously, I know that it's a not very well-known character in general, like amongst comic book fans sometimes, as well as
I mean, I kind of know her. The best way I to explain her powers really is she's kind of like a Sandman version, but not made of sand. She can grow really tall. She can change her limbs to grow in size, mainly growing bigger. Um, at least that's mainly referenced in obviously the Spider-Man anime that I'd be watching. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued because it's a weird, it's a mix between Sandman and Mr. Fantastic. And she can stretch her limbs, she can grow to different sizes, she can make a massive fist and slam it down onto the ground. And I'm interested to see which direction they're going to take it. But at the same time, I'm not really sure what type of storyline they can do.
Well, there's the rumor that we're going to be finally seeing the Inhumans introduced into the MCU in this. Obviously, Black Bolt, Medusa, and the gang.
Well, I hope they start from scratch because the Inhumans wasn't a very good TV program. It was entertaining, but there was a lot of loopholes. There were a lot of things that they should have done better, which they didn't. And yeah,
I saw a clip of it before I watched it, and I was just like, man, they've botched this bad. Like just the way they had Medusa's hair. It was a bit like, oh man.
But then even in after like the first episode, they cut her hair off, and then they were trying to save the budget, and they spent most of their CGI on, I can't remember his name, the teleportation dog. What's his name?
Lockjaw.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I don't know. I think Miss Marvel is going to be a series that no one is expecting to be huge and actually proper blows people away. But because we haven't got much about these ones, so we're going to skip through these ones. I really want to get to the pictures because I've got one that I'm super excited to tell you. So let's move on to Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is obviously very much more an 18+ character. Like, don't kill the guy, don't torture him, right? Like, you know, he's very much a 18+ character. What's your opinion on obviously the fact that if they're bringing in Moon Knight, if they're going to PG him down, how do you feel about that, or do you think they're definitely going to give us that 18+ guy?
I think they should definitely implement the 18+ R-rated type of show. Just if they're going to introduce Deadpool, I don't want them to nerf down Deadpool either. And I think they've already been established from the release of Deadpool 1 that there is a fan base that is wanting to have that 18+ R-rated film TV program, and they should definitely keep that going. And they know it works. They know that genre works for their Marvel films. And then you could, and then that'd be an easy step to bring in Deadpool in future.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about the Midnight Suns possibly coming together?
To be honest, Moon Knight's kind of one of the heroes of anti-villains or whatever that I'm not really kind of caught up on, not really aware of it too much.
So the Suns is people like Moon Knight, people like, who else is in the Midnight Suns? I do know this. I literally had a couple to just say this then, and I couldn't even. Words. Ghost Rider, Deadpool, I believe Doctor Strange. So like they all sort of like go all of the ones that they want 18+, and obviously Doctor Strange is much more horror-y. Like all the 18+ people they sort of put together in one group called the Midnight Suns.
Right. Okay. I mean, with Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness is meant to be themed as a horror, and I'm actually looking forward to that twist because they've never done a horror-based Marvel film.
It's not horror. Feige doesn't like that word. Okay,
right?
Not horror.
Thriller. Be a thriller then.
No. It's scary film. Okay,
scary film.
That's what we're calling it. We're not allowed to call it a horror. Did you if you go back and watch San Diego Comic-Con, watch his face when Scott Derrickson goes, "It's going to be a horror film." And then Scott Derrickson's now been chopped. Apparently he left. I think it's probably because he wasn't getting Nightmare, and also wasn't going to be horror. And he was just like, "Man, there's the two things I wanted. You're telling me I can't have either. See you later." But yeah, it's not a horror film. It's definitely
a scary film. Then, if you want to use the very basic understanding of it, but.
Hey. Don't call Feige basic. He's going to get our channel shut down. Okay?
No, I didn't call him basic. I said the explanation was basic. The basic explanation is called a scary film. Technically, it's a horror film. That's just my opinion.
No, but I mean, horror film, really, it does need to be 18, doesn't it? And Doctor Strange is going to be PG-13.
Yeah, but they should have made it an 18. They should have done it that way, because that would have been a very new creative way of putting a Marvel film on the cinema screen.
I don't know. I understand Feige, though, because when you think about how the first Doctor Strange film did, I think a big demographic is the children. It's like you don't want to put a Spider-Man film as an 18-plus film
But
because
then I am hoping they kind of cross over though with Venom, and I want Venom to be an 18 film, because originally it was going to be, but then they actually changed the.
I think things can be an 18 film, though, without having to include things that need it to be an 18. Like, take away the 18 element, you just take away a bunch of swearing.
Well, I was hoping to see a lot more gore with Venom. Having more gore in Venom would have been a lot better. Obviously, they kind of cut away from him biting the head off somebody. There wasn't really that much blood if at all, in the film. And I mean, especially because there's a comic book storyline of Carnage Pool. I really want them to intermix Spider-Man, Deadpool, Venom, and Carnage, and have that kind of storyline. But I want that to be an 18.
I don't know. I'm very much on the side of I want 18-plus stuff in Marvel. I don't want certain characters to go 18-plus because of the demographic in which they've proven themselves already. So I understand completely why he's like, it's not rated R, it's rated PG-13. And according to Feige, no, it's PG-13 and you're going to like it.
I mean, that's a given. I mean, no matter what the rating would be, we're going to enjoy it because it's proven that their films work, and it's proven that we
talk about it on these, aren't we? Let's face it. No matter what happens, we'll do one of these to talk about it.
But yeah, no, it definitely works as a PG-13. But it would be nice to see them outside of their comfort zone and put a PG-13 hero into an R-rated film.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the last one before we go on to our pictures. I'm so glad I said pictures because there's one letter change and I would have been in trouble. She-Hulk. I can't help but find myself really funny. She-Hulk, obviously, Jennifer Walters. Supposedly we're going to get a lot of Hulk in this. Apparently we're possibly going to be seeing 3 Hulks. Hulk, Red Hulk, Thaddeus Ross, and She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters. Obviously, the story in which how she becomes She-Hulk is that it's Bruce Banner's cousin, and she needed some blood, and he transferred his blood, and then she became She-Hulk. And she doesn't switch between the two as often. She tends to just stay as She-Hulk. But obviously, she's also a lawyer, so possibility in her coming in early. I would quite like to see, personally, I would like to see her earlier than her series. I would like to see her in Spider-Man 3, which is probably No Home or Home Run. I would quite like Home Run.
Oh yeah, I'd probably prefer Home Run as a title.
Because obviously he's running away from home. But in that court case where Daredevil's defending him, defending the vigilantes, that's what Daredevil does. Then the person on the other side is Jennifer Walters, who is still only human. She's disowned her cousin. She doesn't want anything to do with Bruce. I'm not having anything to do with any of these superheroes. They're awful. We're going to get them all locked up. We're trying to lock up Spider-Man. And then when she becomes the hero, we also have to deal with the story of what have I become?
Yeah, no, I definitely see that as well. And then she can get a lot closer to Bruce that way. It would be quite interesting though to see after she changes, she might join Matt Murdock and obviously Spider-Man with everything from there. But if obviously the storyline's already come and gone, it doesn't mean she can't make an appearance afterwards.
Who might she join?
I've got the name wrong, haven't I?
No, you haven't. You haven't. But I want the name of the law firm.
Yeah, so Murdoch and can't remember his other name.
Nelson and Murdoch. You probably heard my finger off again. I literally just put on the thing not to make noise, and it still made noise. That's awful. 2 videos, one day. Jeez.
Breaking the fourth wall. Well done.
join them, Nelson Murdoch and Walters, in a little bit of a tribute to obviously what they did in the Netflix series when they had their secretary's name put into it as well.
Yes,
Absolutely brilliant. Obviously, very much I want Charlie Cox to come back and play him.
definitely. He was born for that role, and took it in his stride, and it was very easy to watch from the get-go.
Indeed, I fully agree. I don't think there's much else to discuss about She-Hulk. Obviously, I'm trying to not discuss stuff about certain films and what we think is going to happen inside of them too much, because we're probably going to do a rogue theory on it, and people can get that later. So let's go into these two shows that are confirmed to have, like, they're in production, but we don't know what they are. Now, we're not going to talk about the Thunderbolts or Agents of S.W.O.R.D. because they're a bit obvious. And right now, let's be honest, it's probably going to be them. So I just really want to hear some different wacky ideas. So what we'll do, Ash, you give me one, I'll give you one, you give me one, and then we'll end on that one that I'm really excited about.
Okay.
You'll love it, especially I've made a post-credit scene and everything. Not actually.
Oh, wow.
Don't get excited, you're not watching it, guys.
Okay, well, all right. So I guess the first one I was thinking of then would be Iron Lad's kind of Young Avengers, kind of it's a TV series, and just going on from those kind of storylines really, and just implementing more characters into that. Maybe kind of like a Titans kind of thing, but with obviously.
So are you saying you'd want the Young Avengers team like basically like Eli Bradley, Eddie Altman,
yeah,
Wiccan,
yep,
Stature, and Iron Lad, and I think I'm missing one more, Kate Bishop.
yes, yeah, definitely having that, and it having like a similar theme to Teen Titans, obviously with the DC Marvel kind of split. Having it kind of like not kind of copy, but kind of like maybe semi-mirror, and that would be quite a way to go down, quite a nice way to go down, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be a great series. Who would be Iron Lad though? Because I definitely have my own opinion on how I want that to go. Who is Iron Lad?
For me, I can't remember his name because I'm really bad with names, but it was the guy that was in Iron Man 2, the boy that was in Iron Man 2. I wanted him to be Iron Lad.
Harley Keener.
Harley Keener, yeah.
And I'd love it if it was obviously Reed Richards' grandson. And it's just because of the marriage that he's got a different surname. It'll still all fit into it. I think if they just change the name of Iron Lad, who originally was obviously Nathaniel Richards, if they change his name to Harley Keener, maybe his dad was called Nathaniel as like a little Easter egg. I think that'd be absolutely great. I fully endorse that show fully. Here's a no. I'm not giving you a rogie.
That'd be stepping too much on the territory of new rock stars if we did.
Yeah, which is why we're going to do that in a separate video called Rogue Theory. That's what they call it. But I'm going to give you my first one. Now, my first one, it's going to be a belter because I want to introduce. Well, I'm not going to say the word introduce because I think one of them is going to come up earlier. I think not Luke Cage, sorry, Iron Fist is going to be in Shang-Chi. I think he's going to be in the Tournament of Death. And I think he probably takes himself out against Shang-Chi before the final because he realizes what Shang-Chi's fighting for. And he decides to kneel and take the loss, which is such an Iron Fist thing to do because obviously he's won his own tournament. He doesn't need this one as much. And so maybe he kneels down and goes, you take what you need to take. Which I think would be really cool because obviously we could see him as a villain originally, and then once he realizes why this guy's fighting for what he's doing, he kneels down, and he only needs a small part, and yet it introduces so much about his character. So I'd be all over the idea of Iron Fist being in that, but 3 characters that we've not seen yet in the MCU because it's been confirmed that the Netflix series are not canon. Okay, they're not canon. They're probably going to canonize certain things. I reckon they're probably going to canonize Daredevil, but Luke Cage and Iron Fist, I believe both of them have been confirmed to not be canon. First
Jessica Jones as well, because there was the woman who plays a police detective in that is actually credited to play a scientific doctor in WandaVision. So she's playing two different roles within the Marvel sides of obviously the TV shows.
obviously, Luke Cage, we pretty much got confirmation from it because Mahershala Ali is playing Blade, and he played Cottonmouth. But my theory, sorry, my pitch. This is where we were going, wasn't it? We weren't just having a chat. Hitmen for hire, but not as we just know it. Now, this theory also, I've seen it on New Rock Stars. I'm adding my own stuff onto it. If you haven't checked them out, go and check them out because we've mentioned them so much. Like, honestly, they're a great channel. Eric Voss, Philip Molina, Tommy Beckhold, Marina Mastros. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like, there's so many great people on there. I'm not going to name everyone because I won't name everyone and then I'll end up offending someone. But I've just named a couple.
And they're a lot more professional and a lot more funny than we are. So definitely go check them out.
Hey, yes, they are. So yeah, do go and check them out. But I really like the idea that I heard on there. And I face it, and I heard this. This was like one of the old ones back when Rogue Theory wasn't as good as it is now. But Eric Voss, I think it was, or Philip Molina, it was one of them to put out the idea of Hitman for Hire. But rather than having the focus be on Luke Cage and Iron Fist, the focus be on Colleen Wing and Mercedes Misty Knight. These two had their own section in the comic books, I believe. And they are two characters that they did amazingly during the series. I'd be all over the idea that we get Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Colleen Wing, and Misty Knight as a foursome, but the leading people that are in charge are the two girls. Because the two girls are like, yo, we've not got powers. We had to earn our stuff. You two have got powers. We clearly have shown more responsibility than you two have. And that's how they take like the lead. But a series, Hitmen for Hire, where they just go around and basically stop some bad stuff from happening. I don't have anything else that I want from the series. I just want them together, okay? And you can do whatever you want in the series, okay? Feige, I'm giving you free reign. Do whatever you want. Just put them together, man. Put them together. That seemed very sexual, Ash. So, Ash, what do you think about Hitmen for Hire?
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds interesting to watch, and I keep saying it. I know it's going to be my catchphrase now.
That sounds interesting to watch.
Yes, definitely. It's just because I don't know how to talk to myself when I'm on camera.
Well, you could try talking to me instead. But Ash, why don't you tell us your second show that you wanted to do? And if you can't remember it, I can tell you it.
No, I can remember it. It's fine. It's I mean, I was thinking about this because during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had that Ghost Rider storyline, and they had that reference to Doctor Strange when he started spinning around his chain and made the portal to go somewhere else. And I feel like they missed out on a very good opportunity for the spin-off show for Ghost Rider, and maybe even including like Wong or something. They couldn't do Doctor Strange, but like Wong or one of the other members of the mystical arts. And they completely missed out on the opportunity. So I would really love to see a TV program based around Ghost Rider and maybe implementing parts of the Doctor Strange story and his allies and the threats that they would probably go with, but still going on with the Angel of Revenge. I think it's the Angel of Revenge.
Okay, that cut out, but
yeah.
Luckily.
Yeah.
And so, as you were thinking, we still got all of that. That's perfect.
Right.
What I want to know is, which Ghost Rider do you have?
I kind of want to go for the original one, really.
Donny Blaze?
Yeah, Donny Blaze. Just because it was, I mean, I preferred that. I mean, the first Ghost Rider I watched, anyway, was, now I'm blanking on the actor's name. He's everywhere, and I can't think of his name now. What's his name? Because he was in... no, I completely gone. It's out of my head.
What was he in? Come
Sorry.
on. What was he in?
National Treasure. And loads of other stuff.
National Treasure and loads of other stuff.
Yeah, he was the original Ghost Rider in the film.
Um, what
Why
was?
am I blanking? Why am I blanking on his name so hard?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
How can you forget his name?
it's at the back of my head. I'm getting like parts of it, but I can't.
I'll
I
tell you
can't
a
think.
clue. His surname I mentioned in my
Cage.
last pitch.
Yeah, it's. I can't. I
Cage.
can't.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. Thank you. I don't know why I'm blanking so hard. I think it's just because this whole situation. If I'm not working, I'm not doing anything, and so I'm not really stimulating my mind properly.
Well, let me stimulate your mind a little because I've got my last little pitch here, and it's one that you're going to be super duper excited over.
Hit me.
So, I want the TV show to be called Battles of Sakaar. I want us to go back to Sakaar, and I want us to see what happened inside that arena and why we got all of those faces on the sides. So I want us to follow Korg and Meek, who have been there all that time, and we get to see Beta Ray Bill as the champion. We get to see Swamp Thing as the champion.
Mm.
Not only that, but also we get to see Planet Hulk's storyline, and the way that I would end it after the Red King or Red Prince gets killed, Grandmaster takes over, and Hulk goes to him and goes, "I've got nowhere else to go. I will stay and fight."
Yeah, I can just imagine the line in my head like Hulk no home, Hulk here home.
I think that's the perfect way to go, and I think it also introduces the spikes, and I quite like the idea that we could have the spikes turn up later.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's a great little idea. There's a bunch of characters that we could then use going forward. Kiara being one of them. I just think there's so many great things that you could do in Sakaar. But here's the big part of it. My big part is that I want a post-credit scene at the end of all of the series where we go to present day and we have the grand reopening of the stadium in Sakaar for the gladiators to fight. And for their opening night, they've got two big competitors ready to fight. And we see it on the board above, and we hear it being announced over someone announcing it, so everyone that's walking to the stadium can hear it. And they go, "Don't miss out tonight," as we see Cable versus Abomination in the arena. And that's not even the best bit yet. We see Deadpool walk into the arena and go, "Oh, what a matchup. I'm super duper excited. I'm super duper excited."
That's brilliant. No, God, you've got me really excited. Yes. I think they should definitely do that. Like, write to Disney now and just be like, this is what I think you should do.
How good would that be? Just the idea.
That would be amazing.
Because all you need to do is do that, and then you could literally set up a Deadpool film where he's watching Cable versus Abomination. Imagine if they then did Deadpool 3 and it starts with Cable versus Abomination, and he's
Yeah.
at the audience, and then something bad happens on their first opening night because it's a stupid idea to have that stadium. So they just, on the first night, Deadpool gets involved, and they end up having to fight several people in the first episode.
Plus, it makes sense because after the first Hulk film, we have no idea what happened with Abomination anyway. So he, as far as we're aware, he was in some sort of government lockup. But ending up in Sakaar would be a fantastic way. Yeah, that's hype.
You know why I have him there?
Mm.
I think he's still going after Hulk to avenge his loss. And Hulk was there. He's tracing him back. And that means that Abomination is coming for Hulk soon. And that means we can get that rematch coming soon.
I think that'd be yes. And you've hyped me up. Yes, you're right. I'm making you write to Disney. You're gonna have to pitch that to them. You have to make them do it.
If Feige watches this, Feige, mate, don't want any of your money, but let me come on set and help you write that. Yeah? If I
too.
Imagine the rest of it. No, Ash, do one.
I just want to be a part of it.
Ash should just be sat there during all the board meetings, and we're like, "So we're thinking about, doing all this," and he's like, "Yeah, I'd watch that."
No, I'll be sat in the corner taking selfies.
Me with Feige. Me with Brandon. Me with Brandon and Feige.
Just on set, you know.
All of a sudden, like, there's like a notice: Ash is not allowed on set.
Or you just put me in like a back corner, like a really dark corner of the set, with it like inside of a cage, but I do not feed this person.
My favorite thing is the Deadpool like line gave him. It's just like, "Ooh, what a matchup! I'm super duper excited," as he just walks in, because that's like imagine Ryan Reynolds doing that. He would love doing that line. That'd just be such a good series. I think if you watch the Battles of Sakaar and then you're like, "Oh, damn, the stadium's back open," and Deadpool gets involved in the Deadpool 3 film, and so him and Cable have to team up and fight a bunch of different tasks in the first episode, like in the first bit of Deadpool 3 to get out. I think it's just a really cool way. But also, my main thing is that then also leads on to us having Beta Ray Bill and Man-Thing inside the MCU. And maybe Man-Thing's not meant for the MCU. Maybe we should have him lose. But I don't think anyone that's on that wall is allowed to lose. Anyone that was on that wall from before, they should all be winners.
Yes, past champions, if anything.
And so, but if they've ever lost and they've died, why is their face on the thing? Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
The ones that have actually escaped and not had to die on their way through this.
But it doesn't mean they can't come back.
It doesn't mean they can't go back. That's the thing. Like, if they don't die, they could come back at some point. And maybe they bring back Man-Thing or Beta Ray Bill, and like they come back. I reckon, because obviously in Planet Hulk, Beta Ray Bill shows that he doesn't particularly like the stadium. And so, and also I do think that there should be a little scene where we do see the Grand Master take over from the Red King at the end, where Red King's dead. Grand Master takes over, and then we see Hulk pledges allegiance, going, "Look, I'm gonna stick around." And then he's like, "So are all of these people," and that's why they get given good treatment. And so that's how the champions get given good treatment now, whereas before the champions weren't given like the best treatment. Like, you don't see that in Planet Hulk. I think there's so much to it that you could do. I love it. But yeah, out of them 4 shows, Ash, which one would you be most hyped to watch?
Definitely the Sakaar, the Battle of Champions.
I wish I could say one of yours, man, but I hyped myself up for that. I thought it was great. Yeah, I agree. Which Disney Plus show that's been announced are you most excited for?
Definitely WandaVision. So it's been WandaVision for me for ages, and I just really want to get stuck in and start watching that.
I think mine now is probably going to be Loki. But I was always hyped for WandaVision. I think WandaVision is going to have a big impact going forward, and I think Loki is going to have a lot of subtle hints to how big of an impact it's going to have going forward. And plus, I just literally want to watch Loki and be like, wow.
Owen Wilson, wow, right now. Wow.
Wow. So, Ash, if people want to find you on social media, where do they go?
They go onto my Instagram, which is thatguyash, and you can message me from there.
Brilliant. And if you want to message myself, then go onto our main page. I'm the one that runs them all. So go on to Marvel Matters 2020. It's on Instagram as that. I know that for sure because we were just there. But also, if you can't find us under that, find us under Marvel Matters 20, because sometimes they don't give us enough characters to use, and it's really upsetting. And I'm going to say this every video until you let us have as many characters as we want. Look at you, Twitter.
On that note.
On that note. Brilliant. Well, this has been another discussion. If you've enjoyed the discussion, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to leave us a little comment. Let us know which one of these shows you're most looking forward to. Don't forget to subscribe. The more people that subscribe, the more our egos get boosted. Not Igors this time. Not Igors. The more our egos get boosted, and the more we're going to do more of these videos. If you're bored of Ash, I can get rid of him. Don't worry. if you have something that you think, Ash, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch that, then send him in the DM with some things that you think he would definitely watch. Or maybe just leave us your pitches, what you would like to see. But don't be pitching Thunderbolts or Agents of S.W.O.R.D. It's too easy. It's too easy. So yeah, make sure to do that. And do you know what? It'd be lovely if you just click that little bell. It'll tell you when we're doing lovely sound effect. Not even going to add anything in the post for that. I'm just going to let that happen. I could be really nice and give you something, but no, I'm just going to leave it like that. Yeah, you get to know whenever we've uploaded something new. Obviously, we've got Out the Box, we've got Rogue Theory, we've got discussions. We're going to have debates where we have something that me and Ash completely disagree on. We're just going to have an argument on camera. I think we're going to have to do one on Hawkeye after this as well.
Yes, no, definitely. And hopefully when all this is over, we will be in the same room doing this instead of just on a webcam.
If this is over pretty darn soon, and the university opens back up, I have an entire TV studio that I can use whenever I want. So that'd be great. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and press the bell. Make sure to share us with your friends. Maybe your friends love Marvel. Maybe they don't like us. I don't know. But definitely share us with your friends. Go and find us on social media and let us know what exactly you think of us. So for now, this has been Ash. This has been Brandon. And this has been Marvel Matters, where we discuss everything that matters about Marvel.